So, welcome back, dear students. So we are again back here with the respiratory system, where we are going to talk about the need of oxygen, and it is not until afterwards that the athletic obtained the oxygen needed in order to remove the lactic acid. As I told you, when you are doing a lot of exercises, why do you feel pain? It is because of the release of a acid called lactic acid. Safi, will you please keep the camera properly so that I can see your face? And again, Ramsha, Ashaz, please don't force me to remove you from the class. Switch on your cameras, Ashaz and Alina. So you can see that this is what is happening. How is fatigue, muscles in your body, you know, during exercises, you talk about building apps and all, how are they developed? So, you know, this presence of lactic acid in the blood is the main cause for the muscle fatigue. And we have also seen how a chart that shows us the lactic acid graph. And now if you look at anaerobic respiration, can anybody tell me what do you mean by anaerobic respiration? What is, raise your hands who knows what is anaerobic respiration? Yes, Alina? Raise your hands in the reaction box so that I can see it. We were talking about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. What do you mean by aerobic respiration and what is anaerobic respiration?
An aerobic oxygen's breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And anaerobic? See, as I'm every time keep telling you, these are Greek and Latin words. So aerobic means air. Okay, and whenever in this Latin and an or a is added as a prefix, aerobic ke pehle anaerobic an laga diye, so that means absence. Aerobic means presence of air, anaerobic is absence of air. So there are certain organisms which lives, which respires. Their respiration takes place in the absence of air. Like we are the organisms, we human beings, are we aerobic or anaerobic?
Aerobic.
Very good. So we respire air. We need air to breathe. Okay. So the organisms which does the process of respiration without the presence of air, we call them as anaerobic respiration. So the living things produce carbon dioxide and gives out energy. These processes are caused by an oxidation process. Let us find out by doing some experiments. How is it happening? So we will see what is actually happening here. If you see, the living things produce carbon dioxide and give us energy. These processes are caused by an oxidation process. Let us find out by doing this, what is oxidation process and how is it happening? So all living organisms, they are producing carbon dioxide during, this is a catabolic process. We call respiration as catabolic process, where breakdown of food is taking place and energy is released, and you are utilizing that energy for your work. Okay, so this process, this is called oxidation. So in oxidation, what is happening in the process of oxidation? In this lab activity, what are we doing is we are taking some yeast. What is yeast? Yeast is again a microorganism, I told you. This organism takes place, the respiration of this is a, yeast is a, yes?
Yes. It's a name of a bacteria, yeast, yeast.
Yes, it's a good bacteria, which is, we eat it, we consume it, it's good. I mean, we can utilize it. There are so many bacteria like lactobacillus bacteria, which is there in the curd. So there are certain bacteria which are very helpful and healthy for us. So among them is yeast also. So what is, but how is the respiration in yeast takes place? Let us see. So
Okay.
What is the aim of the experiment? We wanted to show that because all living organisms, they require respiration. But out of them, some are aerobic, some are anaerobic. So anaerobic is the organisms that respires in the absence of oxygen. So now yeast is one of the organisms that is anaerobic. Its respiration takes place in the absence of air. So to prove anaerobic respiration, what are we doing? We are taking, what are the following apparatus we are taking? One is the thermoflask, thermometer, test tube, yeast boiled and cooled glucose, and we are taking hydrochloric liquid paraffin and carbonates. And now take glucose solution in a flask, and it is boiled and cooled without shaking to remove oxygen. Now you put some yeast into it, the yeast solution, then the liquid paraffin is added to it, and then it is closed. So this bicarbonate, or it's an indicator of the solution for the gas produced in the yeast. So we are using bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is used to show that carbon dioxide is released during the process of respiration. So now what we have done is we have poured some liquid paraffin on the mixture of the mixture to cut off the supply of oxygen. So what does paraffin does is oxygen is not supplied. So we wanted to stop the supply of oxygen and then want to check without oxygen also does respiration takes place, right? When I say that there is some organisms like yeast which are respiring without oxygen, so you people, nobody will trust it when a scientist says who wanted to prove it. So he had to show it to them how it is happening. So when paraffin is added into this mixture, the supply of oxygen is stopped now. And now what after that, what have we done? We have arranged, we have washed a bottle which contains bicarbonate. So bicarbonate is a indicator that shows that the gases are produced by yeast. Respiration takes place and yeast also produces a gas. So let us see how is this process happening. So to check that oxygen is removed from the mixture, we add few drops of diazine green solution to the yeast before liquid paraffin over it. So before adding liquid paraffin, we are even adding diazine. And this blue dry turns pink when oxygen is in short supply around it. Note down the initial temperature in the thermometer. So whenever, because I told you respiration is a catabolic activity. So whenever the breaking down takes place, energy releases and the temperature rises. So if oxygen is released, if any gas is released, then the temperature has to, whether the temperature will decrease or increase. Can anybody tell me what will happen during the catabolic activity? Yes?
Increase.
Increase. Have you ever seen your body temperature after doing the exercises? What happens to your body? Does it become cool or hot?
Hot.
Yeah,
Hot.
so yeah, whenever you're doing some catabolic activity, the temperature rises. So to prove that the gas is released and the respiration is taking place, we are using a thermometer to check the temperature. Yes, Ramsha, what's your question?
I didn't understood the word catabolic. Can you define that word? Explain it a bit. What's catabolic?
Catabolic means breaking down. Anything that that helps in breaking down. Anabolic means building up. Some or like, you know, digestion. In digestion, what we are doing is we are doing a building up activity. Whereas in respiration, it is anabolic. It is breaking down things. Okay. So the food you are eating and all these are broken down, and it is broken down in the form of energy. And when energy is released, you are able to function. So that is what is breaking down. And a catabolic is something that is broken down. So this blue dry turns pink when oxygen is short in supply around it. And then what we are doing is we are noting down the initial temperature to see what is the temperature before the catabolic activities takes place and what will be the temperature after. Supposing if there is no change in the temperature, that means no catabolic activity has taken place. If the temperature rises, then only we can prove that catabolism has taken place. So observe the mercury level and which is raised, which indicates that temperature is produced. So now you can see that bicarbonate turns milky, which indicates that carbon dioxide is released. So this indicates that carbon dioxide is released because you have seen the change in the color. The indicator that is added to it has changed the color and it has become pink. And you can even smell ethanol. Ethanol can be smelled and observed. So alcohol is produced from the yeast and glucose mixture, alcohol and ethanol is separated. And they are separated by a process. In this procedure, we see that how it is being separated. And you can see a gas being liberated. So you can see a gas getting liberated and you observe that the mercury level is raised, which indicates that temperature is produced, and bicarbonate turns milky, which indicates that carbon dioxide is released. Now, if you look at the further, how do you know that the gas that is liberated is carbon dioxide? So for that, smell of ethanol is also observed, and alcohol is produced from the yeast. Glucose mixture, alcohol and ethanol are separated. Now we just separate all these mixtures, and then the fractional distillation of, since ethanol boils at very low temperature, that is at 70 degrees centigrade, than the sugar. So how does fermentation takes place? If you take yeast and sugar solution, yeast and sugar solution are left to stand without oxygen for some days. They develop a characteristic smells caused by the production of new compound, and this new compound is ethanol. And the yeast from the sugar and the same type of smell is preserved tightly. If you look at idli, dosa, dough, which you make at home, at night you keep so that the yeast, the ethanol is separated from the yeast. And this glucose mixture by the process of fractional distillation, since ethanol is boiling. So by the process of fractional distillation, you can see that this process takes place. We have already learned about the Krebs cycle, in which the entire process, how NADH, ATP molecules are formed. So the respiration versus combustion. What is the difference between respiration and combustion? If you look at the Lavoisier in 18th century, a scientist, every one of you, I can't see you all. Are your cameras on? Asha, sit properly. Alina. So in 18th century, any doubts? You're not able to understand anything? If you have got any doubts, please ask. Could understand the process till now? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So can I proceed? So
Yes.
if you see in 18th century, through a series of careful performed experiments, the opinion that respiration is a process of combustion. Just now, Ramsha was asking, what is catabolism? Combustion and catabolism, they are one and the same. He has proved that. How is it a process of combustion? Combustion is, so what he did is, he did an experiments, many series of group of experiments, one after the other he did. And he compiled them all, and he wrote that respiration is a combustion process. It is very slow process, and oxygen is not only combined with carbon, but also with hydrogen. He said that oxygen not only combines, it forms water molecule as well as carbon dioxide. And Robinson also stated that respiration is a type of combustion, and the source is heat in animal. Then heat is also generated. So now you can observe the changes during the combustion of sugar. When you burn sugar, you can see what are the changes that are happening. So we are taking an apparatus, test tubes, 2-hole rubber corks, a delivery, L-shaped delivery tube, glucose or sugar powder. And then what we are doing, we are taking lime water. And we are taking a small amount of glucose in a small test tube, and we are arranging the apparatus as shown in the test tube. You can see how it has been kept. And then this glucose powder is heated on a flame. And then after heating this test tube, unless the glucose catches the fire, we heat it that long. And when the glucose burns, carbon dioxide, water are produced and energy is released. And thus glucose must be burned at very high temperature in a laboratory to liberate energy, if energy has to be liberated. Once the glucose starts burning, we cannot stop the process easily. Here, combustion of sugar can be stopped by adding water to the burning glucose powder. So to this burning glucose powder, what we are doing is we are adding water. So the carbon dioxide is released. So we can make sure that the released gas is carbon dioxide by using lime water. If the lime water turns milky, then it is sure that the gas produced is carbon dioxide. Thus, this this lime water is white in nature. So it turns completely milky. So this evolution of the gas and exchanging system takes place. So you see how it is being gases exchange takes place in a life process of all living organisms, but in not same in all single-celled organisms like amoeba and multicellular organisms like paramecium and other organisms also, which you have seen, Hydra, planaria. There you see that carbon dioxide is expelled directly from their body by a process of diffusion. They don't have well-defined organs like us, mouth, nose, and all from where. So body only. Whereas in spatial multi-cellular organisms like horse, cat, and the animals, terrestrial animals, or the aquatic animals, we find a different respiratory system. The respiratory organs are present. The whole respiratory system through the lungs, and what all are the tissues that are present in the lungs? Can anybody tell me the tissues in the cells? The tissues that are that makes the lung cells?
I think vascular tissue.
Vascular, no. Anybody?
That's
because we were
tissue, right?
Yes, yes. Which tissue?
But that's a tissue.
Tissue are
tissue.
I told you, a group of cells that performs a function is called a tissue, and a group of tissues having same function will form an organ that is called lung. So what are the cells or the tissues that are present in the lungs?
Epithelium.
Epithelium, no, it's the upper layer of the skin that is present in the skin. Epithelial layers.
Pleura.
Pleura, no. Pleura is again a liquid that surrounds your lungs. This we have explained you in your earlier classes.
Pleura, teacher.
Yes.
Pleura.
Pleura? No.
Ma'am, can you name it, please?
Have we done it in the last class?
I don't think.
We have. When I have explained you what all are the tissues that are present in, how are tissues forms?
Is that viscera?
You are not getting it on Google, no? So from the Google only the answers are coming up, pleurula and all this. No?
But my camera was on.
Yes, that is what whoever is giving that answers, I'm seeing from where they are getting these answers. Have we not talked about the alveoli tissue? Alveoli, we have told, you have seen it, small globes, like when you have seen the structure of the lungs, already we have completed it. So alveoli tissue. So these are the respiratory. So it poses different types of respiratory organs, mostly depending on the habitat or what they live, their body size, availability of the water, and the types of their circulatory system. So we can see that depending upon the size and the nature of living, there are these organs are developed. And the reasons animals develop different types of respiratory organs, if you look at the tracheal respiratory system of a grasshopper, cockroach in the grasshopper, they have got almost the same type of systems where they have a tracheal respiratory system with a series of tubes, and we call it trachea. And this is divided into fine branches called tracheoles, and tracheoles carry air directly into the cells and in the tissues. Okay, so these insects and some aquatic animals like fish, they have gotten special organs of respiration called gills, because they have to first, take oxygen from the filtered oxygen from the water. And this gaseous exchange is called as the brachial respiration. And a fish keeps its mouth open all the time if you observe an aquarium, and lowers, and as a result, you know what happened? The waters from outside will be drawn into its oral cavity. And the mouth is closed. The floor of the oral cavity is raised, water is pushed into the pharynx, and it is forced inside. And the fish keeps his mouth open all the time, so that, this gill pouches through, and then the cutaneous, even through the skin, respiration takes place. So it has got both water exchange, gas exchange that takes place through skin. Like frog is a very good aquatic, and it's amphibian. It can live both on water and land. So it has got both cutaneous and pulmonary respiration. When it's in water, it goes through cutaneous respiration. When outside, it will have lungs and got pulmonary respiration. And if you look at the terrestrial, the animals like reptiles that lives, like birds that lives on plants. So, and if you look at the respiratory system in the plants are also living organisms. Exchange of gases takes place through stomata. Yes.
What are reptiles?
Reptiles are all crawling animals. जिसको आप crawl करते हुए देखते हैं. So lizard is a reptile. Snake is a reptile. All crawling animals are called reptiles. So even they have lungs because they live outside. So, and if you look at crocodile is again an amphibian. It lives both on land and water. So it will have both cutaneous, through skin also the exchange of gases takes place when it's in water, and when it's land, lungs does that function. So there are other areas on the plant body as well, though, where the gaseous exchange takes place. Like if you look at the surface of the roots, lenticles on the stems, that are also responsible, and the tissues that are used in plants like are collenchyma and parenchyma tissues. These are other areas on the plant body as well from which this takes place. But if you look at the mangrove is again a plant like amphibian. It is submerged, like we have got amphibians like frog. What happened to everybody who has switched on the cameras? Are they all sleeping or not interested? Safi, Alina and Ashad, if you're not interested, you can leave the room and go away, please. So these are submerged, or if you're not understanding, please raise your hands anywhere. I'll stop and explain you again. It's such an interesting topic, and you're closing the cameras, keeping your heads, hands on the heads. If you're not understanding, we can stop and then, you know, we can proceed later. Do you want me to stop here? Yes?
No.
No, ma'am, you can continue.
What about Ashaz and Alina? Could you understand what have been taught till now?
Yes.
Alina? So what happened is some plants have got spatial structures, like they have got roots that breathe, like mangroves is a very good example of it, as well as the tissues in the orchid plants you see. So breathing roots and tissues in orchid plants to take oxygen and produces energy, and carbon dioxide is released. So this is how this process takes place. So what are we doing is within the, how does it takes place in orchid leaves? Let us see. And we know very well that stomata is the main source from where the, you know, exchange of gases takes place. And the whole system works by a process called diffusion, and the spaces are very large in this space, much smaller in other parts of the plant. So you can see how this exchange of gases that takes place from stomata, and the air spaces that are lined with water and oxygen are dissolved in this process, and they keep passing. As the oxygen is used by the cells, gradient develops between the cells and the air in a similar spaces, and you can see that there are air spaces in between. And the air outside the stomata and the lenticles, so oxygen passes it, and that's how the carbon dioxide is utilized for photosynthesis, and oxygen is given out, and it is in the form of a reverse process also direction, and it is passing out like we human beings take oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide, whereas plants takes carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen. And most plants have got aerated roots. Aerated roots are roots have got holes into it to contain air in it. So by taking in oxygen through the surface of their root hairs, and then if you look at the plants that lives in the marshy areas, they are connected with the roots, making diffusion process from the water. Like amphibians, they have to diffuse, like fish uses gills. Similarly, mangroves also uses, they are the tropic, and they sends up aerial roots to the surface and takes in oxygen that way. So upper parts much more efficient into it. So let us do an activity to prove that this is happening. So we wanted to prove that carbon dioxide is released during the process of aerobic respiration. So as you know, we human beings need aerobic respiration. So we take in oxygen and gives off carbon dioxide. So does carbon dioxide really releases out during the process of aerobic respiration? Let's see how, do a small experiment and make sure that it happens. But I think this experiment, we have got very limited time left before going for that. I just wanted to clear any of your doubts, and we can take do this activity in the next class. So if you've got any doubts to clarify, please do ask me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you give a little introduction about this man, Lavoisier? I don't know much about him. Like, who is he?
Lavoisier was a scientist in 18th century who has said that, you know, respiration is a process of combustion, breaking down is taking place. And during this process, to show that any process that where breaking up takes place, he had to prove it by the release of energy or a heat. So he has done an experiment to show the yeast experiment, where he has shown that because carbon dioxide is released out and it's a process of combustion, you know, temperature rise. Temperature, he has used a thermometer to show us the temperature. When anything is heating up, that means it is a process of combustion. So he has proved that respiration is a process of combustion.
Okay. So was he a scientist?
He was a scientist, of course. Anybody, if you are also doing any experiment proof, you become a scientist. If you're following a scientific methodology and can prove a new technique, there are so many small young chaps becoming scientists nowadays because of so many opportunities. You wanted to observe something and you have an hypothesis, you believe in it, so you can prove your hypothesis and you can become a scientist.
So it's not very difficult to become a scientist.
Not at all. Only thing is you need to be a very keen observer, and you have to be consistently, you think something. That is what is your observation, and your observation leads to a hypothesis. And after hypothesis, you have to do the experimentations and prove it. And you have to write this all, and you have to make them believe. People believe. People will not believe. Like Lavoisier wanted to, I'll get back to you after the class, ma'am. So Lavoisier wanted to prove his experiment, to show that his experiment is correct. He has to do this experiment and prove it. Anything else? Any other questions?
Ma'am.
In a class, I'll get back. I'll get back to you. I'm in a class. Yeah.
So, ma'am, see this picture of a boy is exhaling air, giving carbon dioxide to lime water and normal water. I have also seen this before 2 times. Like this is, I know this experiment. It's an experiment in which we need to inhale and we need to observe the bubbles. So but I didn't knew correctly that what was the aim and what was the result and what did we learn in this experiment.
See, in this experiment, we wanted to prove that we inhale oxygen inside, and the gas, after respiration, the gas which we are exhaling out of our mouth is carbon dioxide. To prove that this boy is exhaling out a gas from his mouth, you can also say ha. So, and in a test tube, if you keep lime water, and in that lime water, if it is carbon dioxide, that lime water, which is transparent white in color, it turns milky. If it turns milky, that means the gas released is carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So he want to prove that the gas, during respiration, the gas that comes out of our body is through our mouth is carbon dioxide.
Now I remember some years ago, one of our classmates also did this as a science fair project. It was turning milky white.
Yes, very good. Good observation. You can become a scientist, Ramsha. So all the very best. See you all again, and get back to me who is ready to do the comparing activity from class 10th on our 15th August programs. Anyhow, your class teacher will come back to you. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. So tomorrow we will meet again in the class, and we'll see that how we proceed further and for the further discussions. Till then, go through all the videos. I'm sharing all these recorded videos in your group. Go through them. If you have got any doubts, come back to me. Take care.